Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news as things get hot. Hot on Frankie de Jong, hot on many other things, but a big 48 hours. Are Chelsea going to sign Frankie de Jong or are Manchester United going to sign Frankie de Jong? We're also going to be talking about some ridiculous stories that are starting to surface in relation to what I would describe as nonsense, pure nonsense, where Erik Ten Hag is apparently getting the players that he wants and the director of football should be urging him not to buy certain players. We'll delve into all that. Some new players we've been linked to. Werner. Apparently we tried to sign Werner. Right backs. Kaladzic is back in. Loads. Absolutely loads to get into tonight. But before we get into that, it's hot. It's really hot. And if you want to feel a bit cooler in this summer, then we're sponsored by Manscaped. As you can see on the left, scan the QR code with your phone, get your 20% discount. That's what you'll get with the code United Stand, but it will automatically come off if you go through the link in the description or you scan the QR code. So what's Manscaped all about? It's pretty much what you'd think it's all about. It's a razor. It's an electric razor. It's fantastic quality, and basically you trim down there, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger, but also trim the grass, trim it down there to make yourself feel cooler, to make yourself look better. You know, it's not the winter anymore. You don't need a big pillow around it. Get it trimmed, get it looking better, get it feeling cooler. But not only that, the Manscaped has a performance package where you can get the Weed Whacker, the Crop Reviver, the Crop Preserver, the Crop Reviver, the Performance Boxer Shorts, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. I love the travel bag, actually. I use it to put other things in. I take some of the Manscaped stuff out and I'll put things like deodorant, electric toothbrush in there. The travel bag's really good. But look, the main star of the show is the Manscaped 4.0. It's got a light for a more precise shave. You can do it. It's waterproof. Although I would never do it in the shower. I do certain things in the shower, but I wouldn't shave this down there in the shower because once it gets wet, if you know, you know. So I do it dry and then afterwards have a shower and rinse off all the debris, so to speak. But as I said, Manscaped, fantastic, and you can get. They throw in 2 free gifts with their performance package as well, boxer shorts and a travel bag, which is part of it, as I just said. But because Manscaped care about everyone that watches the United Stand, they're giving you a huge 20% off, plus free shipping. I didn't mention that when you use the code United Stand at checkout. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Manscaped. They are fantastic products. We have been promoting them for ages. I've been using them for ages. They're really good. That's for the nose. That's for down there. And check it out. You won't regret it. It really is a good product. And as I said, you can scan the QR code or you can go through the link in the video description. 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Okay. I'm so hot. I've got a sweaty back. I've worn the wrong colour t-shirt. I might. This could change. We'll have to see how it goes. Welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much to Abasam and Mark. Won't you do watch along Madrid Frankfurt? Mate. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch Eintracht Frankfurt, who got smashed by Bayern Munich, play Real Madrid. God, no, I'm not that desperate to watch football. So let's get on with the Manchester United show, which is the United Stand. Lots to talk about. Your honest opinion on de Jong, Mark, is he coming? Well, we're about to talk about that now, Phil. And Johnny says, I'm a Red Army member here. I agree the fan base is divided. I don't get... Oh, I was just about to read that. I don't know whether he deleted it or it got. I think he removed it. That's a shame. I think that was going to be a decent message and he deleted it. Weird. Anyway, let's get into the show. We're going to talk about Frankie de Jong to start off with, and the first thing I want to say is we'll get the headlines in, and then I just want to give everybody what's actually happened with Frankie de Jong and why Man United are to blame, because a lot of people are saying United couldn't have done any more. They've agreed a fee with Barcelona. We could have done a lot more. But first of all, let's go through the headlines. So this is the first thing I want to say. It's from the Daily Mail. With the belief that a deal for Frankie de Jong to Manchester United could be reached at one stage during the summer, Erik Ten Hag thought it wasn't necessary to consider any alternatives. If that's true, that's a real shame that Erik Ten Hag hasn't done his homework on Man United. Because I tell you what, if Man United were my parents and they said, "What do you want for Christmas?" and I said, I want a PS5, I'd definitely say, or an Xbox, because I wouldn't trust them to get the PS5. And I think what Erik Ten Hag has done is he's trusted United to get the PS5, hasn't he? And Yeah, you've got to have a backup plan there, Eric. Man United would have been willing to pay a part of Frankie de Jong's deferred wages in order to sign him. However, unless there is a turn of events, Eric Ten Hag and Manchester United are set for disappointments. That's from the same journalist. Then from That's Football, but it's from Gerard Romero. Chelsea and Barcelona are in the final stretch of reaching an agreement for Frankie de Jong. And then also from Gerard Romero, Chelsea and Barcelona are close to reaching an agreement for Frankie de Jong. They're doing everything to sign him. I mean, just going back to that one very, very quickly though. Look, I still think United have a chance of getting Frankie de Jong. I do. It's not over. It's not over. And we'll talk about what Sky said in a minute. But that doesn't mean anything major yet, because we've agreed a deal with Barcelona. So Chelsea agreeing a deal with Barcelona. Obviously, he could well go to Chelsea, but we've already agreed a deal with Barcelona. So Chelsea agreeing a deal with Barcelona just means that maybe they can persuade de Jong, but they could be in the same position we're in as well. Akit says, Mark, today's my birthday and hopefully United can make my day better, as it's been a disappointing few weeks and I don't see that changing. Mux, happy birthday, Akil. Mark, could you please stop sponsoring Manscaped? Every time you mention it, my wife tells me I need to buy one, says United Forever. Use the code, scan the QR code. And get that top off and get the Frankie one on, Mark, says Joshua Bellwater. I've still got that. I'm not. In fact, let me just grab it. So, ignore our million subscriber plaque there. It's still here. Frankie goes to Manchester. We should do a poll. Is it going in the bin or is it getting framed? I mean, we don't know yet. But if it does end up going to Chelsea, I'll have to do a little video on my Instagram of me burning it, won't I? Also, hi Mark, when the going gets tough, will Eric get rough, says Luke. I don't know, there's a lot to be concerned about United at the moment, isn't there? Let's be honest, the defeats. But I just wanted to say this. The story around Frankie de Jong has become muddled, and some people don't think United have got any blame in this, and some people think United are completely at fault for this. We're going to do a poll on that in a minute, don't worry. So look, in a very, very short summary, before we give you the update from Sky, and effectively, the headline is that there is a de Jong decision coming up in the next 48 hours. And the reason for that is that Barcelona have got problems registering players. If they sell de Jong, then they can register players. They might be able to register players anyway, but there was even talk today that Christensen and Kessie, who've joined this summer, will have to leave on a free transfer on Saturday if they don't register them in time. So there is some urgency to this, and I think Barcelona want it to get resolved in the next couple of days, which probably plays in the hands of Chelsea, who are quite quick at getting things done. PSV or Xbox, more like an old PS2 from Yunnan, says Liam. Bruce Gibson, welcome to the members club, and also Dan Halford as well. So for anybody who's interested, oh my God, Akil on his birthday has just gifted 20 United Stand memberships. Should be going the other way, Akil, but that's absolutely fantastic. Legend of the chat. Happy birthday, Akil. Make sure you say it in the chat. But the reason I would say, and Sean Turner says, I think the most likely outcome is de Jong reduces his wages. Most of the Barca players are doing it. He will follow suit. It has to be sorted by Saturday. Exactly, Sean. So 48 hours effectively. Just over. I'll buy that Frankie t-shirt off you, Marks. It's triggered. So it becomes a collector's item, doesn't it? Yeah, I might not burn it. So basically, the reason Man United are at fault is this. Let's break the Frankie de Jong transfer down very, very quickly. Man United agree a fee with Barcelona after 2 months at the end of June. They also have spoken to his agents and agreed a broad basis of what is on offer. Those two things are not in dispute. Any journalist, even Man United, might admit it, but it's well known, and it's been well known for over a month. United agreed a fee with Barcelona, and they've spoken to the agent of de Jong, and they've agreed a deal in principle. Obviously, it's not been signed officially because de Jong refuses to go without being paid. The wages that de Jong is meant to be getting at United is over 350k a week. I don't know about signing on fees, and I don't know the length of the contract. So we've agreed a fee with Barcelona, and we've broadly agreed a deal with Frankie de Jong's agent as well. So why haven't we signed him? Because Frankie de Jong doesn't want to leave, and also he won't leave without getting the money he's owed by Barcelona. So Manchester United, up until the start of July, had done everything you would expect. They finally agreed a fee with Barcelona, who were being very difficult in June and May, to be fair. We agreed a fee at the start of July with Barcelona, and we've always had this, in principle, contract that de Jong's agent and presumably de Jong are happy with. United then step away and go, we've done all we can. At the start of July, Man United step away and go, we've done all we can. It's now up to Barcelona and De Jong to solve their differences, and when that's solved, he'll come to Man United. And that's what United did. Walked away. He went on tour. United backed off. That was a month ago. Within that time, Chelsea have started buying players and sorting things out, and have then gone, you know what, we fancy De Jong. And now Chelsea are going in, and Chelsea are saying, we'll pay the deferred wages. United are suddenly like, well, we don't mind paying some of the deferred wages as well. Too late. Too late. Man United are at fault here because Chelsea have come in and said, we'll pay the deferred wages. If United had paid the deferred wages at the start of July, a decision would have had to be made. And maybe De Jong would have said, I don't want to make my mind up yet, I'm going to wait another month. In which case, we should have backed off. But we left the deal open. And we didn't close the deal. Because we didn't want to pay the deferred wages because we thought Barcelona would end up paying them eventually for De Jong. But we never understood that basically we'd left the door open for somebody else to walk in. And that is why it's our fault. People, you cannot say United did everything they could because we didn't. Chelsea are swooping in and going, we'll pay the deferred wages, we want to get it done quickly. United said, we're not paying the deferred wages, we've agreed a deal, that's what the deal is, and we'll wait. And we gambled, and we failed. And some of you might agree with United not paying the deferred wages because Barcelona should pay them, and morally they should. But unfortunately, Chelsea have decided that they're going to come in and pay those wages. Now, I don't think Chelsea should pay them. And you could argue that United were right to not pay them. But if the player was so important to this rebuild, which he clearly is, because Ten Hag has no alternative, we should have just paid the deferred wages, really. So it is on United. Whether you like it or not, it is, because there were things that we could have done. What do you think about Michael Knighton and Sir Jim Ratcliffe preparing a £5 million hostile bid? They won't get anywhere with 5 million convex. And I don't think Sir Jim Ratcliffe's involved either. De Jong reminds me of a guy that enjoys being in an abusive relationship, wants to stay but won't take a pay cut and won't leave until he's got his 17 million to Slow Sports News. Well, I think we just explained that. Ginger Red says, Mark, the club is sinking and it's not just the share price. The deeper you sink, the pressure increases and you eventually implode. Maybe a total reset would be the best if we could get rid of these toxic owners. Welcome to the Members Club, Byron. We're saying to my mate at work today, let the sink in. City and Liverpool have sold better players than we are looking to sign. Glazers out, says James Clough. Welcome to the Members Club, Mark. And evening, Mark. Do you think if we do get De Jong, do you think we would still be in for Rabiot if the deal hasn't already gone through, says Jordan. I think the logical thing with Rabiot is to presume that he is the replacement for Frenkie de Jong. However, if you want something positive, read this. This came out at about 6 o'clock tonight from Sky Sports. Frenkie de Jong remains Manchester United's #1 priority and they still believe a deal can be done with a fee agreed with Barcelona and a broad agreement with de Jong's agent. So Man United are still hanging in there. Some people are saying United expect to lose the race, but they are still in there. So look, I don't know. I think we need one thing I think we can all agree on. We need this to end. We need it to be over, and we need it to be over very quickly. So let's hope we can get some resolution on this in the next couple of days. I still expect this deal to be done. I know that's silly, but I still expect it to be done because I cannot grasp that we've spent 3 months sitting on our arse when we could have got this deal done quicker. We could have pushed it more a month ago to miss out to Chelsea. I think it would be ridiculous. And look, one of the reasons we might win this is wages. If we give him 375 grand a week, his wages aren't massively bigger than De Gea's or Sancho's, and they're not as much as Ronaldo's. If Chelsea give De Jong 375,000 a week, he becomes their top earner by 75 grand a week. That could disrupt that club. So, maybe that could help us, I don't know. But is that a reason to get a player? Because we're paying them too much. Glazer out movement needs to start somewhere. You'd be surprised who would follow in dire times. No action, no change. What's the worst that can happen? And Russell. And thanks for that, Russell. I basically got a load of shit today from the usual suspects for talking about the Glazer out movement. So case in point, every time the division comes out, the hate comes out, I'll speak to any fan. I'll get involved in any conversation. I don't hate or dislike any fan. But unfortunately, there is a lot of hate and division out there. And it's the same old stuff as normal. You're not a real fan. We don't want you getting involved. You're not a real fan. You divide the fan base. I mean, I don't know how I divide the fan base. I don't know how you divide the fan base. I don't know how this community or any other website or, outlet divides the fan base. It's called having an opinion. I've never liked the Glazers, so how do I divide the fan base? I don't think McFred are good enough. Oh, everyone sort of agrees with that now, don't they? Maguire, I never would have paid £80 million for him. It's an opinion. It's just, there's dictators out there. And unfortunately, you can try everything you like, but they will, it's not just about getting rid of the Glazers. They actually want to cleanse the fan base as well, which I think is disgusting in 2022. I've never heard such nonsense in all my life. Trying to cleanse the fan base. That's the ideology of some of these people. It's scary when you use that word because it sends you back to things from the past that you just think that we shouldn't be living in a world like that now. Mark, this is the same as the Anthony fiasco, just bloody waiting and then pulling out on principle, says Nicket. And wasn't there a legal issue about us paying those wages? Are you coming to Dublin? Says Relaxing Irish Farm Videos. I'm hoping to. And Chelsea are mugs. That's what Barcelona wanted, is a club to pay De Jong's wages. So United were right not to get taken for a ride, says Ray. Ray, I do respect that. I think, I expected some people to agree with United's stance. I disagree with it. I think at the end of the day, if you want to buy a burger and you're hungry, and you refuse to pay £2 for it, and then somebody walks ahead of you and says, I'll pay £2.20, do you go hungry? Like this player is very evidently the be-all and end-all for Ten Hag. You've got to get that player. You can't just go, oh, well, on a principle, we're not going to pay a little bit extra. What does a broad agreement with the player's agent mean, Mark? So, Humphrey, what that means is we've spoken to the agent and we basically said, look, if you come to Man United, this will be the signing on fee, this will be the wages, this will be the contract. What do you think about it? And they go, yeah, that looks good. Let's sort the Barcelona thing out first. Rabiot is our next Cantona, says Johnny Bologna, and Chelsea's priority is definitely a forward line. Their interest is being used to get us to pay more, says Tamer. And Mark, do you think Frankie would want to go to Chelsea? He clearly doesn't want to come to Man United, says Alexander. And it seems Kessie could be available as a free agent, says Ashish. Well, look, let's just say, in relation to Frankie de Jong, hopefully, after the longest transfer I think we've ever had, although Sancho was longer because it went on for a year, hopefully we're getting towards the end of it. And hopefully we're going to get him, because it scares me where United might end up if we don't get this player that is what Ten Hag's all about. Carl says it's one thing to not be taken advantage of, but to have that stance and also have no backups is incredibly incompetent, says Carl Walsh. It seems Kessie, we've done that one as well. Well, I just want to sort of interject here, because I've heard some crap. I've heard some absolute crap today about how basically there's always an element of truth in it, but I think there's also an element of crap in it as well. Andy says, Mark, as individuals, we are a drop together, we are an ocean. Fans should unite against the Glazers and peacefully force them out, says Andy Cheatham. Well, I think fans are trying to unite, but it's an inclusive group. Some people can be part of it and some people can't, because they're trying to cleanse the fan base, basically, which is disgusting. I agree with you, Andy. I think everybody should be involved. I don't really care about where you're from or what you've said in the past, or what player you like and what player you don't like. Ultimately, if you're a Man United fan and we disagree on things, you're still a Man United fan. In coming soon, I don't believe the media. I believe we have targets and we are working on them, even if it's plan ABC. Why would United say who that is, says Emily. And Barca stole from Chelsea and now they are facilitating a steal from Man United. So it's safe to assume that Erik Ten Hag and Frankie de Jong don't have a relationship, says Sarish. I believe Ten Hag underestimated the job. Possible naivety. Fans need to decide if we can wait and bring in the youth or demand more, says Nicholas Walker. And welcome to Members Club James. Well, there's a lot of people out there who are starting in the media and in the fan base to question Ten Hag's ability to do the job and the fact that it's going wrong and his obsession with players that he's managed before or that are Dutch. I mean, look, in the case of Arnautovic, I just want to get this very, very clear. The Arnautovic thing should never be forgotten. It symbolises where we are. And if you want to get excited about a new coach and a new United and a new CEO, the Arnautovic deal really hits home how far away we are from where we need to be. Arnautovic was a player that Steve McLaren and I think Ten Hag had at FC 20 12 years ago. So 12 years ago, you're bringing a striker in that you worked with 12 years ago. That's a joke. 12 years is basically a career ago. So why are we doing that? Also, completely misread the fan base. Didn't look at the accusations against Arnautovic. Didn't look at the fact that, his reputation is not what you want in a rebuild. I mean, this is a guy who at 28, was it, decided to go to China. That's not somebody focused on their career. So a terrible, absolutely terrible bit of business that you would love to think didn't happen. It's just a story in the Sun. We actually bid for Arnautovic a few days ago. That is unforgivable from United. But I'm not bothered about forgiveness. I don't think anyone's bothered about forgiveness. It's the glaring example of how bad we are. And we all talk about how bad we are at transfers and decision making. I mean, look, remember, this is the same club that got beat 5-0 by Liverpool and held a big meeting in the boardroom and decided to keep Solskjaer. Like, the decision making at that football club ain't just about transfers. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. But the Arnautovic deal really is not about Arnautovic. It's about the fact that nobody in that football club overruled anyone and said, don't do the bid. We can't do the bid for the reasons you lot didn't want us to bid. Because he's crap, because he's got a bad attitude, because of numerous other reasons. United bid for Arnautovic. That can never be erased from our memories. They actually all agreed that this was a good idea. And if we'd got him, forgetting all the controversy for a moment, if we'd got him, what use is he at 33, a player riddled with controversy and downing tools? I mean, he wasn't brilliant for Stoke and he wasn't brilliant for West Ham. On occasion, he'd score brilliant goals, but then he wouldn't do it for another 10 games. And he decided to go to China in his late 20s to make money. I mean, completely the wrong profile of player. And the club collectively decided that was a good idea. 99% of that chat watching the show tonight wouldn't have done this deal. And yet, Man United is being run by people and decision makers who think that's a good idea. Basically, nobody... Well, the reason I'm saying this is, one, because it evidences how badly the club is being run at the moment. But two, nobody's off the record. Like, nothing's off the cards. You can't tell me that I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and we're going to sign Harry Winks for 20 million, even though he's probably available for free. Or, you know, we're going to bring Peter Crouch out of retirement. Like, nothing is off the record, is it? Nothing's off the cards with United at the moment, because they've proved that with Arnautovic. They will do something nobody else would do that is completely illogical and embarrassing, but they will do it. And that, to me, is such a shame, because whatever happens with De Jong, if we got De Jong, it'd be a very good deal. I'd applaud it. But this is a new United with a new manager, and everybody's culpable there. Ten Hag, McLaren, Murta, Glazers, Arnold, the board. They've all gone, yeah, this is a good idea. That's your new United for you. We've still got real concerns. Abasam, well, thank you very much for the super chat. And also Ray says, Chelsea, we've done that from Ray. Done that. Welcome to Members Club. James, De Jong is very good and clearly Ten Hag wants him. I think the lack of planning that there has been is terrible, says Alex. And hi, not sure they need him. Do you think Chelsea are buying De Jong to help them play better football? His passing and intelligence would be useful, says Blazing Ace. I think they've been looking to move Jorginho on for a long time. But also, let me just remove this. Also, I have sort of read a lot about... I think it was Andy Mitten said it today, but I've heard other people say it as well. Manchester Evening News, I think The Athletic said it. Definitely a few people. So it's clearly been briefed that Man United are getting the players that Erik Ten Hag wants. I've heard this quite a lot. And there's a bit of frustration because every player that he's going for is either Dutch or has played for him or has played in the Eredivisie. And people are getting fed up with this because it's almost like Man United's not Ajax. Like, Ten Hag, if you look at his recruitment, he bought a lot of people from the Premier League that had sort of flopped, and then he turned them into good players. This is Man United. You can't buy an Arnautovic and get him to make Man United win the league. No matter how good a coach you are, you can't do that. You can't have that mindset at Man United. And, maybe there's something in that. Maybe some of you agree with this, what I'm about to say. Maybe you don't agree with it like me. But there's almost this story being written at the moment that Ten Hag, after one game, is too small for this job. He's got no idea how to deal with big budgets, and he's buying crap players that really aren't Man United players. And he's out of his depth, almost. That's what it's building up towards. I completely disagree with this, but I can understand why people think it. But my theory is completely different. We've talked about Michael Knighton this morning, Elliot. Ashley, welcome to Members Club. Mark, what exactly are Sir Alex David Gill back for? Surely with them around we can do some sensible football things. Well, no, Joe, I don't think we can. I love Sir Alex Ferguson, but he hasn't managed football for a decade and football's moved on a lot. Maybe Sir Alex said Arnautovic is a good signing because in 2011, maybe he was. But Peter Crouch comes out of retirement because United want height, says Justin. But going back to what I was just saying there, so these people who are saying that Manchester United's manager Erik ten Hag is out of his depth and he's naive and that he's buying players that don't befit Manchester United, I would say this, and also to these people and journalists who are saying that the players that ten Hag are getting are the players that he wants. It's pure fiction, absolute fiction, and I'll tell you for why. If you think that Erik ten Hag doesn't know how to handle big budgets, and if you think that Erik ten Hag is getting the players that he wants, that would suggest that Erik ten Hag walked in May and said, get me Arnautovic, get me Rabiot, get me Morata. He didn't. He said, get me Darwin Núñez. Oh yeah, £80 million striker. Oh, he doesn't know how to handle big budgets. Get me Frankie de Jong, £70 million. Get me Anthony, £50 to £60 million. Remember this. Erik ten Hag may well have recommended Arnautovic and may well have said yes to Rabiot, but he didn't recommend them when he walked in May. The only reason he is now suggesting or saying yes to Arnautovic or Rabiot is because the board have let him down and have not got him plan A, B or C. So now he's suggesting plan D and E. But some of the stories I'm reading today are almost like Ten Hag saying, get me Arnautovic to solve the problems. He's only mentioning these, and he shouldn't be mentioning them. I'm not defending him. Arnautovic is a shit suggestion. But you've got to be fair. He didn't walk in May and say, get me that. He wanted Anthony. He wanted Núñez. He wanted de Jong. He wanted Timber. They didn't get him them. So when he doesn't get plan A and B, we are scraping the barrel, of course. But, you know, it's unfair to say that Ten Hag's getting the players that he wants because it's fiction. He's not getting the players that he wants. He's getting players that he doesn't want, but he's having to suggest because he hasn't got the players that they were meant to get him. United's summer would have been far better and we'd be a far happier team if they got him the players that he wanted. And they didn't. And now we're thrashing around like a fish in a bowl that's been caught. Would not surprise me if they go for Welbeck next, says Darren. I mean, I'm surprised. Would not surprise me either. When the Buccaneers, the Glazers, other sports team got a new coach, they failed to back him in his first year and made him work with what he had, says Baron. If Chelsea get de Jong, should be the final nail in the coffin for Arnold and Murta. They should be gone after this window. Well, they won't be gone though, Vinay, will they? Because they're mates with the Glazers and they're all in it together. Raft, thank you very much for the super chat. And he didn't buy McFred. Are they truly United players, says Red Devil Slang. Also, as well, very important, I heard somebody say it today. Somebody at Man United should be saying no to a manager. You can't just give them what they want. But we've always said no to a manager. Jose Mourinho wanted Perisic and United said no. And Ten Hag wants Anthony and United have said no. So, look, just be very careful of agendas, really, because I do sense Ten Hag is being painted as a bit of an idiot, that he only wants to buy people from the Eredivisie, that he's getting all the players that he wants, and the club. I mean, I don't know whether it's coming from the club, and I'm not saying it is, but I've read some things today, and it reads to me like somebody at the club or someone's leaking something about United are just buying the players that Ten Hag's recommending. It's not our fault, and I don't know who's doing it. I don't think it is the club, but somebody somewhere's doing it because it's 4 or 5 journalists talking the same language, and what they're basically saying is, all the uproar about Arnautovic and Rabiot, these are players that Ten Hag wants, but they're not what he wants. They're what he's having to get because you didn't get him what he wanted. The blame lies with the director of football, the CEO, and the Glazers. The list was handed in May, and you've delivered hardly anybody off that list. And now with 3 weeks left to go, and it's 3 weeks tomorrow, the transfer window, by the way, 3 weeks, they're now desperately going for whatever they can get. I'd be genuinely excited about Gakpo. He looks good, says Dan, and I won't be excited about Gakpo. It's not his fault, but I think this transfer window has been a shambles. And if we go and get Milinkovic, Savic, and Gakpo, I hope they do well. And it's nothing against them, but it's a shambles of a transfer window. It really is. But look, I have to bring this in as well. So Christian Falk, who's a German journalist quite close to Bayern Munich, he actually said this evening that Manchester United approached Werner, but Werner decided to go back to Leipzig. Now, I don't know whether Chelsea would have sold as Werner anyway, but I mean, I wouldn't have minded Werner. I know he gets a bit of stick, but I wouldn't have minded him, Werner. But apparently, I don't know whether that's true. I don't know whether that's true or not. But Christian Falk said apparently Man United wanted him, which if that was the case, it would be another rejection. But I don't know whether it would be a rejection because I don't really know if Manchester United, if Chelsea would have sold him to us in the first place, which is rather interesting. We've been linked to that Sasa Kaladzic again. He's the Stuttgart striker, isn't he? Another tall striker. I think he's about 24, isn't he? Maybe 25. I mean, he's the player that Schweinsteiger said isn't ready to come to the Premier League or Bayern Munich yet. So I don't know, but yeah, well, we are. Like I say, I'd still moan about it. I'll be honest, I would still moan about it. But if it was in the Athletic that United were interested in Rabiot and Arnautovic and we never bought them, I'd just go, well, maybe it was just a paper story. But we know we're bidding for Rabiot and we know we bid for Arnautovic. So anything is now possible at United. Anything is now possible because we are so desperate. And I was speaking to somebody today, actually, because I know yesterday Fabrizio and a few good journalists were saying that United had been interested in Rabiot and Arnautovic for a while. Certainly Rabiot. I was speaking to someone today and I said, there's no way that Man United were in for Rabiot before last week, at the latest. And they were like, why? How can you be so sure? And I'm like, well, Man United leaked like a sieve, and so does Italy. So if United had approached Rabiot in June, we'd know about it. In July, we'd know about it. We didn't know about it until the weekend. We've not looked at Rabiot all summer. And also, Juventus are desperate to sell Rabiot. If we'd been looking at Rabiot since early June, why didn't we sign him in mid-June? He's not expensive. 15 million quid. He could have played against Brighton and been on the tour. It just blows it out of the water, doesn't it? You know, sometimes you just need to use your mind and go, Rabiot is a desperation signing. He's not on any list. He's pure desperation. We've probably been contacted by Juventus and his agent, and who said, look, you know, he wants to move. You need a midfielder. Do you want him? And United have gone, yeah, we'll do that deal. We're desperate. Like, there's no way he's been on a list. None at all. And if he was, we would have known about it and we could have done it. Like, why would you wait until after the first game of the season to sign Rabiot? Make it make sense. Because he's probably the De Jong replacement, isn't he? Let's be honest. Which is terrifying. Who is exactly a Man United player according to this media? Maguire for 80 million, Rashford who strolls at Anfield, McFred or all others who just down tools, says Surab. We've got Ricky on the show tomorrow. He's doing a video with us tomorrow. He's going to talk about Rashford because he's not very happy with him. Anything on the Michael Knighton bid, Mark? I heard he's raised an... I'm bored of it, Harry King. I'm bored of Michael Knighton already. I'm thinking about banning the name from the chat. Like, nothing against the guy. I hope something does come of it. But who are the bidders? What's the plan for the club? When's it going to happen? Like, people just won't shut up about Michael Knighton. And it's like, all he's done is do a video saying that he's going to buy the club. With what? We've got to... You know, we can't... It's like... We're at war now. In a footballing sense, we're at war now. We can't be talking about ammunition that might or might not happen tomorrow or next year. We're at war now. We've got a game on Saturday. We're already in a competitive season, right at the start of it. What happens next year or the year after that or Christmas, it's not going to help us now. If anything, this could make things worse. What if the Glazers think, oh, there's a hostile bid coming in, let's not buy anybody? I mean, it's like, you know, the mind boggles. But look, we need to focus on the now. If Man United only had supporters from Manchester, they would go bust in months, says Fire. Mark, stop shooting shots at Fabrizio. I don't shoot shots at Fabrizio ever, Joe, because I get on with Fabrizio and respect him a lot. But I don't agree with the fact that Man United have been in for Rabiot for a while, and I don't believe he's been on a list. And Fabrizio would respect that as well, because it's my opinion. Hi Mark, do you think that this transfer window would less stressful had United stopped delaying the Poch Ten Hag debacle? This transfer window, Abdul, would be absolutely fine if Rangnick was here. Mark, do you remember news from last month that we can't pay the deferred wages, only Barca needs to pay them? So was that spin from the club, says Gunjan? Well, Chelsea are going to pay them. So what happened to this Deputy Director of Football we were apparently getting in? That was a short-lived story of spin, says Joshua Bowwater. Man United needs an open heart surgery, says Freddie. Eric Ten Hag, please hand me the scalpel. Man United board, here's a burger and a Diet Coke, says Freddie. Look, as I understand it with United at the moment, and God, I don't understand it, but we have the CEO, Richard Arnold, obviously got the Glazers, the CEO, John Murtagh as Director of Football, Darren Fletcher as Technical Director, and then the management team of McLaren, Ten Hag and Van der Geek. That's your 5 things on a transfer. Because the Glazers have got to sign it off, which means Richard Arnold's got to sign it off, which means John Murtagh's got to be involved, which means maybe Darren Fletcher, but certainly Ten Hag. That's United's transfer team effectively. They've all got to agree. Which means, amazingly and scarily, Ten Hag and his team, Fletcher, Murtagh, Arnold and the Glazers all agreed to bid for Arnautovic. That's the level of, I suppose, incompetence to do a deal, to try and do a deal like that. That not one person in there said we can't do this deal. That not one person picked up on the whole backlash about the allegations against him as well is scary. For a club that's so brand centric, to not have picked up on the damage to the brand it was going to cause. Whatever you think about those allegations against Arnautovic, the fact is it was always going to blow up. And as a brand, you don't want to be associated with that, or you at least want to risk assess it, and United clearly didn't. Elliot says, about the leaks from the dressing room, the fun thing is that Ronaldo didn't even start the game and he still gets the blame for not winning, says Elliot. Robert, thank you for the members club. And what we need will never be in line with the owner's intentions, says Jim Jam. This will rinse and repeat until the day they finally leave. Actually, I'm really glad that there was a mention of Ronaldo there, because I know we've spoken briefly about Ronaldo this morning, but that is still a major problem, you know. It's sort of been swept under the carpet, and everyone knows I'm a massive fan of Ronaldo, and I always will be. I really do like him. Patrick Schick has just signed a new contract this summer, so we're not getting him. He would have been a good option, but no, that's gone now. I mean, look, Memphis Depay, Dybala. I remember speaking to you about Memphis Depay and Dybala over this summer and going, nah, it's not really the right sort of player that we need at United. God, I'd take either of them now. When you're bidding for Arnautovic, God, yes, I'd take Dybala and Depay. I mean, that just shows you how optimistic we were at times in this summer window. I was like, I don't want Memphis and I don't want Dybala because they're a bit of a risk. I think we need to, go for better than that. We're now bidding for Arnautovic. What a slap in the face that is. That's scary, isn't it? Of course I'd take Dybala. Of course I'd take Memphis Depay. We've just bid for Arnautovic, but there was a time, quite rightly, where our standards were a lot higher than that. You think we could get Dumfries if Chelsea got De Jong? I think he could be a great signing for us because I'm not super... I would like us to get Dumfries lit, and it's certainly a player that Ten Hag wanted. I mean, it's pretty much universally known now, but the transfer list that Ten Hag gave to United in May was, and not in any particular order, but roughly in order, this was the transfer list that Ten Hag gave as priorities to United. And he knew he wouldn't get all of them, so he did it in order. But basically, the priority signings that he gave were Darwin Núñez, who obviously went to Liverpool, De Jong, who we don't know what's going to happen with yet, Anthony, who's still at Ajax. Then it was Timber, but obviously we got Martinez. Then it was Eriksen, which we did get, Malacia and Dumfries. They were the 7 players that he wanted this summer. He knew he probably wouldn't get 7, maybe 5, if he's lucky 6, but he wanted those 7. And there was a plan in place to get those 7, because if they'd sold people like Henderson, maybe Martial, certainly Jones, Bailly, Williams, Pereira, a few Wan-Bissaka, then they could have done that. But it just shows you how bad it's gone. No Nunez, no De Jong, no Anthony, no Timber. We did get Martinez. Eriksen we got. Malacia, no Dumfries. So we've not even got 30% of what he wanted yet. Scary that the same team that lost at home is going to a well-organised Brentford team. Could be another tough game, says John. I mean, look, we'll have to start thinking about that Brentford game, won't we? But, yeah. Jason says, Michael Knighton says on his website that he has a secret relationship with Sir Alex and was the reason United was so successful in the 90s. Red flags everywhere with this con artist, says Jason Ketterer. Well, Sir Alex, I don't. I mean, unless Sir Alex Ferguson is Snape, if you know Harry Potter, you know what I mean. Unless Sir Alex Ferguson is acting as a double agent, if he's got a great relationship with Michael Knighton, then Sir Alex Ferguson is being paid by the Glazers at the moment. He's on the board, so I don't know. This is what I mean. It's like, don't discount anything, but don't believe anything. What do I always say? We need a traffic light system. Red, amber, green. I spend a lot of my time on amber. I'm not going to be ultra positive. I'm not going to be ultra negative. I'm like amber on this. Let's wait and see. Because I've seen a lot of people, quite rightly, getting very excited and very optimistic. But really, what I would love is Elon Musk to buy Man United. I'd love him to declare his love for Man United and buy Man United. Because then it would be good fun. It would be great fun. And that's, all I want. I don't care if it's football on cheat code. Man City have been doing it. Newcastle are going to do it. PSG do it. After the last 10 years, I'd love to do United on cheat code with Elon Musk's billions. But that's what I would get excited about. This one could be exciting, but it could just be another red herring, to pardon the pun. Rash says, it shouldn't matter what Ten Hag recommends. What is the point of our scouts and director if they can't offer suitable targets, says Rash. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to defend Ten Hag. I like Ten Hag. I think he's getting a lot of negative press at the moment. I don't think you can sit there and say he's obsessed with shit players like Rabiot and Arnautovic when he wanted Nunez, Anthony and De Jong. The only reason we're now going for these players is because the club didn't deliver him what he wanted, so he's desperately chucking other names forward. And I think he's having to chuck names forward that he knows because the scouting system is terrible. But that doesn't mean... There's nothing wrong if Ten Hag says, let's go for an Arnautovic, and I'm the director of football and I say no. And he goes, but that's the player I want. And I go, no, I can't do the deal, Eric. And I'll tell you why. Don't like his personality. There's loads of red flags about how he's behaved in the past, footballing wise. It sends the wrong message because we've done this with Ighalo, Cavani and Falcao in the past. And also there's all the stuff that's damaging to the brand of Man United. So I respect the suggestion and I will take it on board if it goes wrong that we didn't get him, but we're not getting him. That's what somebody should have said. That's not Ten Hag's fault. He's there to be overruled if it's in the best interests of Man United. Where he shouldn't be overruled is we're not getting Anthony because we're not paying another 10 million. That's where they'll overrule him because it's money. With all these agendas and reporters guessing what the outcome will be, we can just all agree Frankie's future's a mystery with 3 weeks left. Yes, Mario, I think it is. And let's not forget, Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, not heard them say anything about Frankie for a while. So there is hope. If we knew Erik Ten Hag wouldn't get fired, then I'd only sign top targets or none. We always sign these panic players and then we're stuck with them, says Nick. Well, I heard something great today. I think it was actually Samuel Luckhurst who said it, and he was absolutely spot on, and I've heard you say it as well, but it's worth repeating. He basically said that the managerial lifespan of a Man United manager is around 2 and a bit years. If Ten Hag doesn't do well, and they buy in players like Rabiot, the Arnautovic equivalent of whatever, and a couple more, and Ranić's gone in 2 years, the next manager's not going to walk in and go, oh, I love Rabiot, I love Malacia, I love Martinez, I love all these players that have all got a connection with Ten Hag. A new manager's going to come in and go, no, get rid of them. And then it's another huge rebuild, which is why you've got to get the Plan A signings. You can't always get a Plan A signing, but if you get De Jong and you get Anthony and you get a Darwin Nunez and it doesn't work out and Ten Hag gets sacked and a new manager comes in, he's very unlikely to go, who's this shithouse Frankie De Jong? Get out, you wanker. Who's this bloody twatty striker called Darwin Nunez? Bollocks, get rid of him, get me Danny Ings. if you buy well, it makes the next manager's job easier. But more importantly, if you buy well, the current manager should succeed. It's something United have failed at for 10 years. They don't buy the manager that they don't buy the manager that they've got, the players that they want. They buy them option B, C or D. That manager then gets the sack, and the new manager is drowned by the shit you bought for the previous manager, who the previous manager didn't actually want. We've done this 3 times now. We've got players in our squad that Van Gaal didn't really want. They were option C. We've got players in the squad that Mourinho didn't really want. They're option C. And we've got players that Ollie probably did want, let's be honest, who were just bad signings. But you know what I mean? If you buy the current manager their option A, the next manager is probably going to keep them and use them because they're option A. But United buy every manager in option C, and then the next manager's jobs becomes harder and harder. And I think Ten Hag's job's really hard because he's got accumulation of Van Gaal signings, Mourinho signings and Ollie signings because we can't sell them. And then we're giving him options C's and D's. Steve says, Michael Knighton doesn't even understand what a hostile takeover is. A hostile takeover is where the seller has no control. You can't do that with Class B shares. Put him to bed, says Steve. Well, I don't know. I'm not getting into all that. Let's not poo-poo on, you know, what ultimately has good intentions, and let's see where it goes. Richie says there's some bellends in the chat asking about Balotelli. Come on now, people need to get a grip. Yeah, I mean... we ex-Man City player, very temperamental, probably not a good idea. Are you still 90%, says Chris? I'm surprised it's took that long. 50 minutes. Am I still 90%? How do I answer this? Well, I did say I'm not doing percentages on De Jong anymore because it's just become very, very hard to get decent information. I still believe we're going to get Frankie De Jong, yeah. Where's my t-shirt? Yeah, we're still getting him. I'm never giving in. To the end. To the end of time. Frankie to Manchester. He's still going to come. I still believe. I need to do that poll as well. Let's do the poll. But no, look, I'm not dropping. I'm not doing percentages anymore because what's the point in going from 90 to 70 to 50-50? The reality is, every 5 minutes it changes because you get a different update. But I know United are still in the race. I know there's a chance they're going to mess it up, but I want to know why they've messed it up, because they've spent all summer on this. What's happening to the t-shirt? Is it going to go in the bin or is it getting framed? I.e. bin, we're not going to get him. Framed, we are. Breaking news, after 3 long months of negotiation, United finally get Nigel De Jong over the line, says John. Hi Mark, why don't we get Godfrey? He's faster and has more experience in the Prem than Martinez. He's also very seriously injured, Raft, so that probably wouldn't be a good idea. Imagine Elon Musk and his electric car revolution taking on the petrol state's attempt at sports washing, says Corey. And I don't understand why United doesn't operate efficiently. They could have signed Ruiz and still could get Tielemans for 30 million, says United AV. I mean, look, there's a great point there. I don't know why United didn't go and get... Himanshu says, let's get that invincible career mode. Oh, it's knackering me out, mate. If you know, you know. So much focus on concentration when I have to play that at the moment. But going back to that, I don't know why we've not gone... I mean, Lamer's the one for me. Lamer is the one for me. I wanted him before the summer transfer window started. Ranić recommended him. If Ranić had stayed, we would have got Lamer. And I tell you what, I think you would have loved Lamer at Man United. I really do think he would have worked. But there's no logical reason not to have gone for Lamer. And I don't know why we didn't. I just think it's because Ranić recommended him and the club wanted to ignore that. And I think it was a mistake. But going back to the Frankie De Jong thing, I can only tell you what is now well known. We've agreed the deal with Barcelona, and we've agreed the terms with De Jong. He knows how much he'd be paid by Man United. Now, people get confused by that. But basically, if I'm Frankie de Jong, right, the best way to explain it is like this. I'm Frankie de Jong. I ain't fucking leaving. The show goes on. I ain't fucking leaving, right? I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving until you pay me my deferred wages of 17 million. So I'm not leaving, right? My agent's like, if you do leave, United will give you 370k a week, this much of a signing on fee and a contract. Yeah, that's great. That is a really good contract. But I ain't fucking leaving because you owe me money. That is a really good contract, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I'm not thinking about it until I get my money off Barcelona. But that 370k a week, that is good. But I'm not leaving. Tell them I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. And Man United have agreed to deal with Barcelona as well. So that's what a broad agreement means. De Jong knows what's on offer from United and his agent likes it. They haven't agreed it because they haven't sorted out what's going on with Barcelona. So when you put it like that, we've agreed a fee with Barcelona. We've also offered a contract that De Jong's people like. But he hasn't left Barcelona because he wants his deferred wages. So this whole story that De Jong refuses to sign for United, it's actually proven bollocks because there has been discussions with United and De Jong's people, and there has been an acknowledgement that it's a very good contract, and there has been an acknowledgement that if Barcelona pay what they've got and he has to leave, then United is an attractive opportunity. Where we failed is that we should have pushed it more because now Chelsea have got involved, and all we're hoping for, I mean, there's three things really I think we're hoping for. One, that this relationship with Ten Hag and De Jong is strong enough to make him want to come to United over Chelsea. Two, that the wage and signing on fee is much bigger than Chelsea, and therefore that's another reason. And three, Chelsea's interest is actually not as strong as people think it is. I think the third option may be a hard one to surmount because I think Chelsea are interested in. But the relationship with De Jong and Ten Hag and the wages that we're offering, they could be advantages for United. But then again, I'll be honest, and I'm not wearing blue for this reason. If I was Frankie de Jong, if I'm absolutely honest, I'd go to Chelsea. If it was me, I'd bloody swim to Man United. I'd love to play for United. Chelsea can do one. You know, Man United would be my dream. I'd love to play for United. I'd go to United. But if I'm Frankie de Jong, I'm going to Chelsea. And the reason I'm going to Chelsea is not just the Champions League. It's not just the fact that they'll probably pay me more or less the same wages. It's the London life. It's the stability of the football club at Chelsea. And it's the opportunity to know that you will challenge for the Champions League and you will challenge for the league. And you've got a much better set of players around you. If he goes to United, the pressure's huge. That midfield is ridiculous. If De Jong goes to United, he's under huge pressure from the first minute. He has got to deliver from the first minute. If he goes to Chelsea, there's a bit of pressure there, of course there is, but there's Kante there. There's Mason Mount there. There's Koulibaly there. There's Thiago Silva there. There's Raheem Sterling there. There's loads and loads of other talented players around him. If he comes to United, the pressure as well. So, look, I'm not going to lie. If I was De Jong, I'd choose Chelsea. I'm just hoping he'll choose United. I don't understand why United doesn't operate efficiently. They could have had Ruiz and still could get Tielemans for 30 million euros, says United have it. I mean, there's plenty of options, but as I said before, I think it's been all or nothing with De Jong. So 4 generations of C-grade players. Wow, I remember our conversation in March about a rebuild, says Nickett. And should we go for Frank Kessie if Barcelona terminate his contract, says Ed. I don't think that'll happen, Ed, but I would have gone for him. I would have gone for Kessie, Renato Sanchez, Lema, Ruiz, Bissouma. You know, that's before you get on to people like Lema, Tielemans and Sangari. I mean, there's 8 there. 8 players there. Could have picked up a couple of them for about 60 million. AOK, thank you very much for the super chat. And Mark, what's the meaning of your bracelet, says Luke MUFC. Right, it's a good question. Basically, the meaning of the bracelet is that it's just basically a black bracelet with a magnet on it that I put a cross on. There is no meaning. I used to have the cross around my neck, and I had, and it was irritating. Got like a mole on the back of my neck, and I was like, I don't really want to wear a necklace anymore. But I'd been given the cross, so you know, it was quite symbolic, so I just put it on there. That's the only thing. I'm not massively religious or anything like that. But yeah, look, I think that's a great point. I tell you what, this poll is going better than I thought. What's going to happen with the T-shirt? It's going to make a hat-trick appearance here. What's going to happen with the T-shirt? I thought we'd have about 90% saying it's going to end up in the bin. 44% say frame, 56% say bin. I'm liking that positivity because it's a lot higher than I thought it was going to be. Ooh, oh, come on then. Come on then. Bit of positivity in the chat. Love it. Musk United, get it trending on Twitter, says AOK. Mate, I've tagged Elon Musk in and told him to buy Man United a few months ago. It got loads of retweets. You know. Carmine says, I really like this channel and all your content. Keep up the great work. I'm really pleased that you like it, and thanks everyone who is tuning in. Make sure you smash a like and please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. But I just want to say there, I think this is a great point, and we've created this point ourselves from the conversation we've had. So collectively we can all go, yes, the United Stand community, we created this point, and I'm sure a lot of people think it and will probably develop it and discuss it themselves. And this is great when we create a point that can just evolve and go out there into the masses, because we've got a fantastic fan base, and it's great to think that, you know, somebody might mention it and other people will be mentioning it on the way down to Brentford or in the office tomorrow or wherever. If you keep buying a manager like Van Gaal, Mourinho, their third choice signings, and they get the sack, the next manager inherits those third choice signings. Ten Hag is now the manager of United. He's got the shit that Ollie bought. He's got the third and fourth signings that Mourinho got, and Van Gaal still in the squad. And now this summer, he's getting third and fourth signings. It just gets harder and harder. It's like like a snowman. You know when you're building a snowman and you start off with a snowball and you roll it around your garden, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you know a bigger ball of snow. United sort of do that, but they start off with a little turd and they roll it, and the turd gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets stinkier, and it becomes more of a problem, and it becomes harder to move forward. This is what United have done over the last 10 years. Van Gaal wanted Muller. He ended up with third choice. Mourinho wanted Perisic. He ended up with, I can't remember now. All these players that the managers say, okay, I'll get them because otherwise I'm going to get nothing else. But ultimately they don't work because they're not the players they wanted. The squad becomes full of the previous manager and the manager before that and the manager before that. Mistakes that the board made. So Ten Hag's got loads of Mourinho and Van Gaal and Ollie mistakes in his squad because they didn't get what they wanted. And now he's going for Rabiot and Artovic and God knows who else. Players that he didn't really want, but he's taking because he's desperate. And then it doesn't work. And then he gets sacked. And then the next manager comes in. And he's got maybe still some more of Van Gaal's, Mourinho's certainly, Ollie's, Ten Hag's. And it's like, you're overwhelmed. You're overwhelmed with this. And it could easily have been avoided if Van Gaal had got first choice, if Mourinho had got first choice, if Ollie had got first choice, and Ten Hag was getting first choice. Because then the next manager comes in and goes, well, I don't know how they failed. They've got really good quality there. But if you don't buy first choice signings, you end up with the situation we're in now, where it just gets worse and worse and worse. And also, the big thing is, if you don't get the first choice signings, you get Van Gaal coming out saying the club's run like a Disneyland or whatever. You get Mourinho coming out saying finishing second with United was the biggest achievement of my career because nobody knows how hard it was behind closed doors. The manager gets the sack, but does anybody really ever go on about how shit Van Gaal was or how shit Mourinho was? Not even Ollie. Well, Ollie still gets it a bit, but is it not amazing how Van Gaal and Mourinho's reputation amongst the United fan base, it's not one of cretin or anything like that. In some ways, they almost become more appreciated the longer this crap goes on. I wanted Van Gaal to be sacked in the end, and I wanted Mourinho to be sacked. They were the right things to do. But as the years have gone on, I appreciate them more and more because they did win trophies and they did deserve the sack, but they didn't get the players they wanted and they didn't get the backing they wanted. So that's another mistake as well. If you are going to own a football club like Manchester United and you are going to employ managers like Van Gaal and Jose and Ten Hag, if you don't deliver them the players that they want, how the hell can they be successful? It's not rocket science, is it? We are failing because you have accumulated over the years a ridiculous amount of third and fourth choice signings for every manager you've had. And on top of that, you pay them stupid wages so we can't get rid of them. I mean, logically, that United squad basically is a bunch of overpaid players we can't sell that previous managers never really wanted anyway. And we wonder why we are where we are. I'd love to live in an alternative universe where Van Gaal got all the players he wanted. Well, not even all. I know that's, but 75% of the players that Van Gaal got were first choice. And Mourinho. And now Ten Hag. We'd be in a much different situation. Would you take Tony from Brentford, Mark? Well, I mean, there's not really an answer to that now, is there? Because any player that we get now is going to be third or fourth choice, which means we're doing exactly what we did with Mourinho and Van Gaal. The sad thing is, and I know I've taken a long time to get here, but the sad thing is, Ten Hag is being treated the same as Mourinho and Van Gaal, if not worse. They're not getting him the players he wants. That makes me really sad, because this is meant to be a new United, and it needs calling out. Forget the ownership thing for a moment. We're dealing with this season, we're dealing with this week, we're dealing with this 5 minutes. This manager has not been given the players that he wants. How the hell is he meant to succeed? That is really sad. The club can dress it up as much as they like, but they've not delivered Anthony, they've not delivered De Jong, they've not delivered Timber, and they've not delivered Dumfries, and they've not delivered Darwin Núñez. How is a manager meant to succeed when you don't deliver him the players that he wants? It's very, very difficult. So McFred turned the ball over 29 times. Can you just break how bad that is and how hard it is to evaluate the rest of your squad with the midfield playing that way, says Rodney. I can evaluate like this, Rodney. Games are won and lost in the midfield. That's why we lose so many games. Some teams play with a false 9. We play with 2 false 6s. Figure it out. Mark, I believe that you said months back De Jong shouldn't join a club like Bayern because he would just be a little piece in a big midfield and that he would be a star in United. But how would now he should join Chelsea? P.S. It's my birthday, says Casper. Yeah, but I was probably doing... Happy birthday, Casper, first of all. That's the most important thing. I was probably doing that because I wanted him to join Man United. Like what Adam said in the earlier show, Juventus must be loving us right now. We gave them Pogba for free twice and we're taking them a midfielder they don't want. Christian. No, you floored me at the end of the show. Juventus will be having a party. We've given them Pogba free for twice, but not only that, we gave them, oh my God. So they took Pogba offers for nothing. We gave them 90 million to take him back, and then they took him back for nothing. Rabiot, they were looking to get rid of by paying his contract off, and we've given them 15 million quid. I don't know how you describe that, but it's absolutely embarrassing. Glazers out, can't just be protests, needs to be organised, have coordinated sponsor boycotts, forensic accountants and lawyers scrutinising finances, says Rob Davidson. Very good, very, 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 very intelligent point. JNL, thank you very much for the super chat. What would you do first to help United get back to glory, reducing these ridiculous wages or hiring competent transfer negotiations, says LJ. Mate, I'm sure most of you feel like this. I feel like this. I feel if I'd been in that club in May, we'd be in a better position than we are now. And that's scary, isn't it? Because what do I know? And what do you know? But it's very easy. If I'd have been the CEO, I would have said, right, now, get rid of Phil Jones, Brandon Williams, Axel Twansebi, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Eric Bailly, and whoever else 3 or 4 players want to get rid of. And right, this De Jong thing, I want it sorted by the end of June. If it's not happening, it's not happening. And why aren't we working on Anthony at the same time? Timber, what's going on there? Proactive, quick. But I know. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And obviously, if anything happens, we'll be going live. Let's see what happens in the next 48 hours with De Jong. Mark, it's embarrassing what United have become. I see a brighter future for my club Leicester, and we haven't made a single signing this summer, says JNL. Well, Leicester have always been a well-run club. I don't know why you're not spending money this summer. Maybe you need to save money, but you're going to make a lot of money off Fofana, aren't you? Thanks everyone for watching. Take care, everyone. Don't forget, scan the QR code. Our new QR code. Hold your phone up and scan it. Oh yeah, scan it. Manscaped. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Free worldwide shipping and 20% off. Fantastic product. Check it out through the link in the description. this lovely QR code. I love it. I love it. I almost feel like I can touch it. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Have a good evening.